Hello, Jeff Foster, Web Biz Ideas. This tutorial is on your online PR template. Now the main goal is to add websites and people to your PR template that you want to influence, and then also use this template to set link goals, manage relationships, and get links published on other people's websites that you've influenced. So you'll need your PR template as well as watch our other tutorials on finding related websites to complete this one. But what I want to show you in this tutorial is mainly on what these tabs are in your PR template, as well as what does every single column mean in your PR template. Because you're going to be using this to really track, manage your online public relations, right? You're looking to find related websites, and we have tutorials on that, right? You're looking to find highly valued websites like the CNNs of your industry, add it to this template, and then reach out to them. And so obviously to reach out to highly valuable people and websites, you need a plan, and so this is the template that's going to give you all the information that you need so you can successfully reach out to people. So to start, let's just go over the tabs in the bottom, just a summary of them. So the first one is a schedule. This will allow you to plan out and schedule out how and when you will contact certain websites. Your next one's the high valued and low valued points are really where you'll spend 80% of your time. This is where you'll actually enter in the websites that you want to influence and then other information about them. The bonus key is really a multiplier to give more value to the highly valued sites, again like the CNNs of your industry, because you don't want all your points, right, or all your links to come from, let's say, a classified site, right? That's red flags with Google. So you want to make sure that you give value to the higher valued media outlets and blogs. So when you are doing this, or when you hire someone, they can stay balanced. And then finally, you have monthly reports or yearly reports, and this will allow you to keep track of all the links that you have obtained, or if you outsourced it, to allow you to track it. So to start, I'm going to go over the high value and low valued points because everything else revolves around this. So to start, let's just go over the high valued points tab, and I'm going to go over all the different columns. So first, column A, this is where you're going to add your website or your person that you want to influence. Column B, now you're not going to enter in anything in this column. It's going to be calculated automatically, but this is the value of column A, right? How valuable is informationweek.com? Well, it has a value of 8. And so this is calculated by some other columns I'll explain later. But really, when this is all filled out, you'll be able to come back and sort and say, well, I only have so much time this month. I'm going to go after the ones that are the most valuable. So this will allow you to sort through hundreds of your contacts to decide who to reach out to first. Your category, that's easy. Hey, this is a site about this. Now, tactic. This can obviously change, but we like to put in basically how we plan on influencing them. I'm going to maybe give them an editorial pitch, a news pitch. I'm going to try to connect with them socially. I'm going to write a guest post, right? Whatever the tactic is, you want to add it here so you have some idea of what you want to produce in regards to content. Editorial calendar. This is very important for high valued sites. Again, magazines, newspapers. So again, if we went to one of these, this is the information about what the publication will be discussing or writing about in 2012. So maybe every year you'll need to update this. But at the same time, if you have this editorial calendar, now when you have hundreds of websites in here and you watched other tutorials on actually reaching out and influencing people, well, hey, you can just come in here and say, okay, there's the editorial calendar, what do I want to write about? So in the long run, when you're actually reaching out to these people, this is going to be very valuable. You're going to want this link here. So take the time, find it on the website, add it in here, because otherwise it'll be very difficult influencing them if you don't know, what they're even writing about this year. Now, column F and G are similar. Column F is the last time you contact them. You want to really make note of that. And then notes really are what you talked about. hey, I called him on the phone, I talked to John. Hey, now I emailed John. So this way, again, when you're managing hundreds of contacts, you need to stay organized. In Google Docs, remember, just click Control Enter to create another line. Going on, column H, I, and J, pretty obvious. The contact name, email, and phone number of the person that you're reaching out to. Make sure you add this in before, you don't just want to put informationweek.com and say, I'll come back and add all this. You want to make sure you fill out this completely, because again, when you're looking to reach out to Information Week, you got to figure this stuff out anyway. So put a link or put the person to where the editorial contacts are. Sometimes the contacts come on a page like this, where it's just, hey, here's the entire team, so you can't just pick one. So if this is the case, put a link. But if it was just Rob Preston, put Rob Preston here, his contact, email, and so forth, kind of like we did there. Column K and L and M, some of these websites will allow you to register on them and create an account, and they'll give you a username, password, and profile URL. If they do, add that there. Column N and O, these are also very important. Just like the editorial calendar, I would say one of the most important things that you can add in. So an example is, obviously this example is coming from informationweek.com, it's coming from dynamicchiropractic.com, it's coming from the website that you've added in, but it's an example of someone else that is doing what you're trying to do, right? So for example, our competitors have received, links within this article, so it's an example, right? Our competitor, Tim Brown, has got an editorial written on this website, and he's gotten a link to his website, right? That's exactly what we're looking to do. Our end goal, our deliverable, is to influence one of these websites, right? Some way, right? That was our tactic, right? Going back here, we're looking to do one of these things and get our content published on their website, get a link on their website some way, somehow. So examples of people that have done this in the past are great, again, when you're going back, because now when you say, okay, how should I, reach out and influence, or what should I write about, or what should I pitch to Information Week? Well, hey, you have an example of someone that already influenced Bob Evans, or you have an example of someone who already created an editorial, so maybe I should copy them and kind of follow their lead. So examples, again, you really shouldn't add anything to this template if you don't have an example, because we're looking to add influential websites, but also people that we feel that we can actually influence. So add examples, and this will really go well for you. Now, column P through R, I'm going to come back to right away. I'm just kind of going in order of how I would do things. So the next step I would do after I add all that information is column S through column Y. And all this data comes from Open Site Explorer. So you can plug in any website into Open Site Explorer, and it's basically going to give you a bunch of data about the value of that site. So Information Week has a domain authority, a page authority of this. They have this many linking root domains, or 5,000 different websites that link to it, along with Facebook shares, likes, tweets, Google+. Fantastic, a lot of information at once. It's a copy and paste, right? Page authority, domain authority, linking root domains, right? Facebook shares, and so forth, right? You're going to add this in here. And so this is, the value of this website. But these numbers are all over the place. So what we're going to do now is make it into a nice, easy, 1 through 5 value. And so that's what columns P through R are. So columns P through R allow us to calculate the value of this website. Right? This is this number right here, 8. How do we get this? By multiplying P times Q times R. Again, it's done automatically. But what we're going to do, and how I do it, and everyone will be different, is this. I start with column P, and I put how easy is it to influence Information Week, right? With 5 being the easiest to influence. So again, Information Week is a large media outlet. You gotta, reach out to someone like Bob Evans and influence them. So it might be a little difficult just to contact them and say, hey, I'd like like you to talk about my company. So right, we put them down as a 2, and same with Dynamic Chiropractic. But let's say, we came to this website and it said, hey, we are looking for people to write editorials for our company, right? This is how you do it. Here's a link to submit all your information, right? And then when you're reading the website, you keep seeing editorials after editorial after editorial, and right, you might have a higher number because it's easier to influence that website. So you want to add this number here because, again, you only have so much time in the month, and you want to obtain so many links and get so much content written about your company. So you want to have basically how easy it is to influence this website or person in here. Columns Q is the estimated value. Columns Q, I go back to here and look at the page authority and look at the domain authority, look at how many people are linking to them or that are talking about them, right? The Facebook shares and likes, and I'm going to put an estimated value to this. A lot of times I focus on the domain authority and the total links. So hey, this is a 93, 5,000 people almost linking to it. It's going to get a 4. Now, this website has a domain authority of 69, only 500 people linking to it. It's going to get a 2. So meaning that if I get a link here, most likely it's double the value of if I get here. Now, the bonus value, every column needs to have at least a 1 because, again, you're multiplying these together. And I'm going to just save this for right now. I'm going to get into this in a little bit. But as of right now, at least put a 1 there to make the calculations, right? So now we're going to go 2 times 4 times 1. So we get 8. 2 times 4 times 1. 2 times 2 times 1 is 4. And so, right, that's why down here we have the estimated value. And so now, again, we can decide and sort who we want to reach out to first based on this, based on how easy it is, and based on the value of that website. So that's the basics of the high valued points tabs. The low valued points tabs is exactly the same, except there's a couple additions. And I'm just going to go over this one, the submit link. This one, again, these are lower valued, meaning that a lot of these places literally are begging people to contribute to their website. Hey, contribute to freelance folder. This is what we're looking for. This is our guidelines. These are examples, right? I mean, talk about easier to influence, but at the same time, we want to add links like this to them. So most of the time, these links will come from blogs or article directories, right? This is where you contribute. Hey, this is how you can write for us. This is where you submit your article. So you want this information in here so you don't have to look for it ever. Hey, I'm looking to post a job on one of these places. I want a link in here so I know where to do it. So you don't have to keep finding this information every time you do this. So add a link to any place where it says this is how you submit content. This is how you contribute to my website there. And then the only other addition is if it's paid or if it's a do follow. Paid, right? Is it going to cost me money? This is a job site. It's going to cost me $200 to submit my job, right? Do follow is, am I getting the link juice? Do they have a link? And you can go search do follow and no follow in Google and find out what it is. But basically, it's going to say, is the link that I'm obtaining here, right? Am I going to get value from it? Is this link valuable or not? Because a lot of times in the code, if you would look for this in the code of the website, there's something called do follow, or no follow, meaning that Google's going to say it's not as valuable. I'm not going to give value to this link. So anyway, do a Google search for it and you'll find out what that means. I wouldn't pay too much attention to it in the long run, especially if you're focused on doing PR. So okay, just a quick review. High valued, low valued is where we add all our websites, and right, we just showed you exactly what all the columns mean. Fill it out, make sure it's all complete. It's going to make your life a lot easier when you actually start reaching out to these people. Now, let's go over real quickly what bonus key is. A bonus key, very simple. If you don't know what it is, just leave it all the same. At the same time, it's hey, I want to give more value to the large media outlets and maybe the large bloggers. If I get published on CNN.com, man, that's better than 1,000 links anywhere else, right? So I really want to put a bonus or a multiplier here, and that's why in our system we have a multiplier. So right, this is, if this was, you know, a 3, which it very well could be, now the value is 24. So if we get one link here, it's, you know, 6 times more valuable than this one. So we really want to put this in here because it's going to help us determine what websites to go after first, again, as well as encourage us to really influence the high valued sites, because that's what Google wants. And this is also for if you're outsourcing this or if you're hiring someone, to make sure that, hey, outsourcer, you're not obtaining all my links from job sites. So very simple. If you don't know what it is, just leave it in here, and then when you put in your websites, you say, oh, this is a large media outlet, I'm going to give it a 3. You know, hey, this is a forum. When I add my forums, I'm going to put a bonus of, you know, 1. You know, very simple. Just look back at the bonus key. The other thing to go over quickly is the schedule. Now, the schedule you may not need to have. At the same time, for us, we always have a schedule for our clients, because we want to know and build so many links every month. So, a little complicated at first, but it's not that complicated. So you got to start here in January, February, March, whatever it is, right? So let's just say it's 2013. I'm planning out how many links I want to obtain, or the value of those, or the points. Remember, we're going for points. That's the end-all be-all right now, the value here. So this one's 24, right? So we're going to set a goal saying I need at least 100 points a month from our high valued. And then the low value, remember here, forums, classifieds, right, things like that, I'm going to say I need 50 points, right? So again, this is 24. I would need, right, 4 of these links, we'll say, to reach my 100 goal. And the 50, you know, if I had the low valued and they were a bunch of 1s or 2s or 3s or 6s, right, you know, I would need so many to reach my goal of 50. And so you want to put that in for every month up here, right? And then it's going to calculate your total over here. So, right, in the total year, I want this many. Now, that's the start of it. And then below, down here, where it says URL, classification, and these points, now this is where we're going to add the websites we're going to influence. And so this, again, just for us, you don't need to do this, but every month we sit down as a team and say for each client, well, who are we going to influence, right? We're not just going to blindly try to, you know, randomly pick people. So again, just imagine that this was entirely filled out. We were going to copy, right, the people that we want to influence this month. So we're going to say, okay, these are the people I'm going to try to reach out to this month. How valuable are they? This is a 24, that's a 4. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to add, okay, this was 24. You know, this is a 4. And notice how the number up here changes, right? So right now I have, you know, 58. So keep in mind, right, my total for the January is 150, right? I needed 100 high value. I needed, you know, 50 low. So right, so I still need, you know, to get a lot more. What happened here? There we go. So right, so I would need to keep adding my websites here and keep adding the value, which I just pull from over here, into my schedule. And this way it says, okay, this month I'm going to get this many. You can plan out each month, or if you wanted to, right, you could plan out each year. You say, okay, well, I'm not going to influence this website this month, but maybe in March I'm going to, because hey, I took a look at the editorial calendar and they have something that I can, you know, reach out to them and do in March. So this you can use to plan out, you know, what you're going to do. And the points up here allows you to understand, hey, am I reaching my goals or not? Because if I'm in a competitive industry, I might need to get a lot of points, right, or a lot of links. Again, we just made up these points. It's more just a summary or a sum total of the value and the ease of use and how valuable these links are. So really, these points are just really more how many links do I need to get from very influential websites. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, come see our website, ask us questions about this. But it's a very valuable tool if you do it every month, especially consistently on some sort of basis, to basically make a plan and to see it through. And then finally, you got your reports. We have a monthly report where it goes, this is January 13, this is February, this is March, this is April, right? And then we have a yearly one. So you can choose which one you want. You can start with this one and then add on more. But either way, again, it's okay. For example, this is an example of a editorial that I recently received, right? So that's where that goes, right? This is the link to the article that I got published. This is the value of it, right? We would go back to our high valued system and copy again the value. It'd say, oh, it was a 24 if that was the website, and we would put that in there. The classification, this is a large media outlet, right? Get that from the bonus key. Oh, this is a large media outlet. And go then the links back to, it would say, oh, well, this links back to, right, WebBiz Ideas, right? The link that I obtain in this article, that's where it goes. And then the rest, the Facebook likes, tweets, pins, and so forth, again, come from Open Site Explorer. And so that's where we get that. Now, keep in mind, too, there's two options you can do. Let's say you got published, again, on this website, Dynamic Chiropractic, and this is your article, right? So what we really want to do is type this into Open Site Explorer for our reports. Now sometimes if the article is very recent, it might not have any information kind of yet. This one only has 1733, but there's no information here. So you still want to use this page for your reports because this is the value of the page. So we don't want to come in here and type in just Dynamic Chiropractic into our reports tab, right? We do for the when we're entering them into our normal high valued and low valued, right? We're going to copy that information right over here. But for our reports tab, right, we want to copy actually where we got the editorial, right? We want to copy this. This is where I got it published. I'm going to add that into Open Site Explorer, and I'm going to calculate that value because I want to know how many people are talking and liking that article because it's going to show me how valuable my article really was. So make sure that you're entering that information from the actual page that you got the link from. So other than that, that's the PR template. Please come to our website, ask questions, give us a call. It can be complicated to start, but again, in short, all you're doing is adding all the websites that you want to influence into the high valued or low valued, and you're categorizing them. And then you're filling out all the information, so later on you can go back and say, okay, I'm going to reach out to the people. I have all of my contact information in one place. Now this is easy. I even have a schedule, so this month I know I'm going to reach out to this many websites. There's the websites I'm going to reach out to. I know I'm going to hit my link goals, and now I even have reports, so I can go back and say, hey, fantastic, I'm doing a good job, or I'm doing a bad job, or if I'm hiring someone or outsourcing this, now I can check their work to make sure that they're getting links. And now you even have a structure of saying, is it valuable, right? I know this was the estimated value, but hey, did I hit my goals? So anyway, that's our PR template. Let us know if you have questions.